Today on the Topic Show, a man breaking into a house goes viral on social media. A dad roasts the school for brainwashing his daughter against him and putting gender ideology inside of her. Tim Walz is drowned out by booze by veterans because of his stolen valor. Tesla reveals a cheaper CyberTruck. And the Kids ATV is being recalled because the brakes may or may not work. All of that and much more on the Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, see that's a joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free Flamethrower with every IT purchase with a fun Picatinny rail adapter, so you can mount it to any standard AR-15, like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the Flamethrower button to learn more and see me shooting a flamethrower. Lastly, trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Tesla revealing their cheapest Cybertruck ever, though still costs much more than a nice used Porsche, but that's just being, obviously, apples to oranges. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Motor1.com, specifically Chris Smith over there. And he says, quote, Tesla just revealed a much cheaper Cybertruck, but you could still buy a Ford F-150, Silverado, well, Chevy, or Ram 1500 with four-wheel drive for about the same price. And presumably with gas engines, so they'll last more than, 10 years. Though it is a GM product, so kind of a coin flip there. Now here you can see the loved, hated, and iconic Tesla Cybertruck, which looks kind of fun and quirky. Again, if I won the lottery, I'd probably buy one. Obviously do a powertrain swap, put in a nice Toyota Tundra drivetrain in there, gas engine and stick shift, aka manual transmission. I'd have to have a lot of stupid money to do that, but that'd be kind of fun. But that's just me. I partially digress. Diving into the specifics of the article, they say, quote, amid tariff chaos and sharp decline in sales, Tesla has announced its latest version of the Cybertruck. This is a long-range single-motor trim slotted in the same base model for the lineup. It doesn't exactly have a base model price tag, though. With destination fees included, it still cost the phenomenon of marketing, you think it's not $72,000, it's $72,000 plus. Technically, the price is $71,985. But again, depending on where you live, 6 to 10% more because of the extortion registration tax or sales tax. Now he says, quote, what do you get for that price? The least expensive Cybertruck has the longest range of them all, going estimates 350 miles on a single charge. That's approximately 25 more miles compared to the all-wheel drive trim, which costs an extra $10,000, or one nice used Mazda Miata. A single motor drive, the rear axle, and through a horsepower figure, as it mentioned, Tesla claims it can reach up to 60 miles per hour in 6.2 seconds. The locking rear differential is included to help with traction. They say as a standard equipment, you get the textile, quote-unquote, seats, which are made of cloth material. They come with a heating element, but no ventilation. Elsewhere, you get the stereo goes down from 7 speakers, versus 15 at higher trims. You'll find 18-inch wheels at each corner, and at the back, powered Tanu, I don't know how you spell that. Well, I know how you spell it, pronounce it. Tanayu cover, the trunk bed cover. Everything I say, I have a fancy word of marketing, though, today. That's actually gone. Also gone are the plethora of 120-volt power plugs. Through the Tesla offers an adapter for the charging port that gives you 2 plugs if you need them. Does that mean you get the OG cigarette lighter? That's what we called it back in the day. Or a really painful learning lesson. You click that once, take it out, get that hot coil. And I might have just lost 80% of the audience, but I partially digress. They say the air suspension is replaced with adaptive coil springs, which means you can't adjust the ride height. The towing package is standard, but the maximum towing rating is 7,500 pounds. That's still a pretty hefty amount. Well, yeah, let's be honest, 90% of these are going to get, at most, some mulch from the Home Depot, or let's be honest, Lowe's. They say the cargo capacity is 2,006 pounds, is also stout. By comparison, the all-wheel drive Cybertruck can carry 2,500 pounds in its bed. As far as we can tell, the base model still has a steer-by-wire controls with front and rear wheel steering. Optional upgrades include 20-inch wheels, though you have to lose a bit of range in the process, and availability soft Tanau. Again, truck aficionados, let me know in the comment, what do you call that silly material that goes over the truck bed? But you can add that. You can also add extended range, with Tesla quoting 362 miles if equipped with the smaller wheels. Full dual, jeez Louise, I can't believe this. Full self-driving is available for an additional $8,000, which, yeah, that's for most of their vehicles. They'll charge you for that. $8,000 for that kind of full driving. They say that. $8,000. That's a nice used Mazda Miata, and they're spending it on software, which, yeah, I know software sales are huge in the United States, but still boggles my mind. They say you can also add things like a sunshade, under-seat storage, and floor mats for nominal, what the heck? For nominal prices for under $300. Say comparing with other electrical pickups, the Ford F-150 Lightning, who's buying that crap? Remember the demand for that crashed so much they paused production for a couple months in Q4? That's when you know you have an issue selling your junk. That starts at $65,109 for a similar dual powertrain. The Chevy Silverado EV is available in a single range motor two-wheel drive trim for $57,995. Its Rivian Camp, the R1T, starts at $71,900 with a dual motor punching 533 horsepower. They claim it will be available between June and July this year, which means you'll get it by January next year, because that's usually how it goes. Someday we'll get the, the Tesla Roadster. Someday we'll get that in our lifetime, allegedly. Now, I'm actually surprised. Makes sense for them to do apples comparison, comparing them to the GM Ford and, other electric pickups. But again, in terms of a pickup you'll actually use to haul stuff and, last a while, I would compare them to, the gas Ford F-150, which is still the most popular truck to date in terms of volume of units sold. Not the most reliable, but still it's sold. But yeah, if I need a truck to last me every day to use actually for truck things, probably buy what would be considered nowadays a vintage Toyota Tundra from 2012? Some of the final years they still have the V8 option, although you have to do a manual transmission swap, which would be expensive, but nevertheless, I think it'd be worth it. But I mean, Tesla, they got the peak market. They were selling these for $250,000 when they first came out. A couple of people were buying for them. It wasn't the standard, but people are paying the premium to be first, and it makes sense. Like most, product launches, now that you're scraping the medium to the bottom of the barrel, you're gonna, cut some of the features to hit that price point where a lot of people do shop just by what is that price point. So I think this actually will increase their sales overall. Now, it's not great for the shareholders because there's less profit when you have these lower margin things, but traditionally, volume is usually how you make up for it. But let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the Cultural Pod podcast, you have a man breaking into a home going viral on social media, with many saying, yeah, we know how to fix this. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Drew Hernandez on Twitter, or X, saying, quote, "You see this at your window, what is your next move?" And here you can see a house, and it's a gentleman in all black with dreadlocks, well, African-American as well, and he's pretty persistent in getting this window off, even breaking the glass, which, yeah, isn't cohesive to good health. Glass kills. Also, people defend their homes, as they should. Yeah, what did I say? YouTube kidding or something like that? Castle doctrine is a beautiful thing. That's why you should live in a freedom state.
Why are you playing?
Yes, why are you playing? Interesting question. Falls on his ass. Punches through the window. Now across through. Breaking glass everywhere, which... Now, I was about to say fun fact. Sad fact. If you live in a shitty place like New Jersey, which is, yeah, I would say one of the worst places in the United States, they have what they call the right to retreat law. That means if this person is breaking your house just like that, legally speaking, you have to turn around and run, which I would argue is the antithesis of America, much more of France or Canada in terms of cultural. But yeah, if you actually confront this gentleman, this person trying to break into your house in New Jersey, you get in trouble. Yeah, the law is that you have to prove that there's no way you could have gotten out of there. Because again, it is a right to retreat state. In states with a modicum of sanity, they have the castle doctrine, which again, I'm not a lawyer, though I do own a suit. That is where, yeah, you could defend your castle by any means necessary. In which this person probably wouldn't get far if they're in places like, Texas or Florida. Though in California, they'd probably be given, an award from the courts would probably give the thief or this person breaking in a hefty sum of money because he might have broken some skin on against the glass, maybe bled a little. But again, that's a state that rewards criminals. Now, this went really viral, got 5 million views as well as 22,000 likes. And again, he's asking, "You see this at your window? What is your next move?" One of the first comments is Gunther Eagleman saying, quote, Finger Squeeze getting 2.4 thousand likes, which, so you're not, I was gonna say, even if you're not a gun aficionado, you can probably figure out he means squeeze the trigger. Anderson says, quote, I hope his mama got that good boy graduation photo ready for this newspapers. Grammar be damned, he did say it that way, getting 9.1 thousand likes. Tavishnar says, quote, a shotgun with a salt rock load would be an appropriate response. If necessary, the next shell would be buckshot. Which one the intruder received would be entirely up to him. There's a picture of a mom and a child. It says, a gun in the hand is worth more than the entire police force on the phone. Fact check true, getting 2.4 thousand likes. So one of my favorite debates, so I think all Texas has this debate. What's the most optimal way to defend your house in terms of a personal firearm? To which I always say shotguns are the dumbest thing, especially, again, not legal advice. Using rock salt is the dumbest thing possible. Same with bean bags and all that extra novelty crap. I say that because in most areas, legally speaking, using a firearm is the same either way. You're still using deadly force. As crazy as that sounds, laws around guns aren't logical. This would be one of those examples where, yeah, if you shoot someone with rock salt or, whether it be a beanbag, you discharged a firearm. Also, with a lot of recoil going deaf, and you got one shot, and when you're that close, about the size of a golf ball or a baseball, you don't have that traditional shotgun spread that everyone always brags, oh, if I just rack the shotgun, they'll run away. No, you just told them where you are position-wise. Also, again, at close quarters, it's only going to be a golf ball size or like a softball size spread of the pellets, which is why I will always advocate the best implement, bar none, would be standard AR-15 suppressed, ideally with a 75-round drum. You got very little recoil. You do not go deaf, and you get more shots on target. So that's something that I think every group of guys always debates on. We want a 1911, a Glock, or AR-15, a shotgun. It's a fun debate, and well, I would argue there's a right answer, obviously, but yeah, a shotgun, especially for a gal. I mean, most guys 12 gauge, you're gonna push you back. Hard time getting a follow-up shot. AR, pretty much any able-bodied person could shoot multiple times with very little recoil. But that's just my 3 cents. It used to be 2 cents, but 40-year hyperinflation, and not legal advice. Chris West says, quote, well, since I'm Kanata, I would first be sued for cutting his poor man's arms and hands and legs with my intact window that shattered for no reason. I would then be arrested for the assault of a deadly weapon because I shouldn't defend myself at my home. Getting 6.9 thousand likes. And also a strong reminder of what POS Justin Trudeau is, who famously said, you have no right to defend yourself with a firearm. Again, Canada is a third world hellhole, I would argue, because you have no freedom of speech and no ability to defend yourself. That's why the United States is so uniquely beautiful. An age-old saying is, God made man, but Samuel Colt made man equal, which is true because, again, if you're a petite woman, you get equal ground to defend. If you have a nice, well, I would say handgun or AR-15 against a big bodybuilder guy who could physically beat you to death. But that gun makes you equal. I would also, probably give you an advantage if anything. But yeah, and Samuel Colt, some people might argue the wheel guns are a weapon of an old civilized age. But Samuel Colt, fun fact of the day, is famous because he was the first successful patent holder to invent a successful repeating revolver. Before then, there's a lot of misfires. We also have Dr. Pepper saying, quote, well, he has a meme, or rather just a picture of a revolver saying wrong house, getting 5.1 thousand likes. Ark says, quote, reaction to a home invasion, non-gun owner. It's a scared, petite, beta-looking man, somehow with a woman, saying, oh, we're gonna die. They have a picture of I don't know what movie that is, but a cowboy says, gun owner, I'm your Huckleberry, getting 2.3 thousand likes. Jay Lee says, take this picture. It's a revolver with the inscription on the barrel, smile, wait for flash, getting 1.4 thousand likes. Cassandra says, quote, the police cannot stop an intruder, mugger, or stalker from hurting you. They can pursue him only after he has harmed or killed you. Protecting yourself from harm is your responsibility, and you are far less likely to be hurt in a neighborhood of gun owners than you are in a neighborhood of disarmed citizens, even if you don't own a gun yourself. And apparently there's a quote from Harry Brown. You can see a nice sexy lady holding the heck they can't. She's carrying a scar, or an FN scar, light. But I think the magazine is either black or removed, because with this picture, it does not look like there's a magazine in. I guess she does have a standard 30 round mag in there. Although, again, you have the iconic, 7 or 8 different shades of tan for the Scar Heavy. Well, this is Scar Light, sorry. But yeah, it has a black magazine, which almost makes it look like it's not there. Then she also has probably a Glock in your holster for a pistol. Getting 1,000 likes. Going down more and more. You have Echo Based Network. Pretty long name. He simply has some pistol or pictures of some, well, legally pistols or AR pistols. Looks like, man, just standard 30 round capacity. Actually, one looks like it's a PCC or pistol carbine, pistol caliber carbine. It looks like 9mm, I think. They both got cans on, which, yeah. Don't forget, suppressors are legal for civilians to own in 42 freedom-loving states. You just need to do the proper paperwork, pay the $200 extortion fee for the NFA tax, and your local dealership, if they're properly, has licensing for it, they'll help walk you through it. Yeah, I can't recommend enough for, well, not just for your hearing protection, but home defense, so you don't go deaf off of that first shot. They got 2.5 thousand likes. Scripter says, quote, me watching the intruder with a quarter-size hole in his chest, plead with me to call 911. Nice, they got the Boba Fett actor getting 3.4 thousand likes. Starless Sky says, introduced him to my local candy stash, and someone has a candy machine where they switched it out for pistol caliber bullets, or cartridges, technically speaking. They got 1.7 thousand likes. Mr. Idaho says, which one do I choose? And it looks like he has a 223-556 cartridge, and then a ginormous lever action cartridge, 450. Those, just my areas of improvement. I'd say lever action rifles are the one area of firearms I know the least about. But yeah, that's a big old cartridge. Getting 760 likes. There we go. Case in point, Bird Crow Studios has a picture that says, quote, God created men, Samuel Colt made them equal. Getting 187 likes. U.S. Homeland Security says, go Texas on them. And there's someone loading up a, antique, side-by-side, double barrel shotgun. Which, again, I would never use for home defense because a lot of recoil. And in that case, you got 2 shots versus the AR-15. If you put one in the chamber, 76 shots. Yeah, yes, with a drum mag, but still, that extra weight will reduce the recoil, I would argue. Going down more and more. Oh, wait. No, yeah, not seeing any contrarian statements here. And again, the scary thing is, in some states, you have to retreat, which is why I would never live in a place like New Jersey, heaven forbid. And always, I was going to say, not legal advice, but I'm always a fan of all the concealed carry classes, even when you have constitutional carry. Because the big thing people forget to think about is, heaven forbid this happens to you, you will be arrested. You'll be, eventually you'll be proven innocent in court, given the circumstances. But yeah, it's still going to be hell on your career, on your family. I mean, you're going to be, you might lose your job. It's one of those things where no one ever, people bombastically see on the internet, oh yeah, do this, that. It's like, no real gun owner, I would argue, most of them, none of them actually want this to happen, heaven forbid. Because then you'll have to defend them in court, and shoot, they can always sue you in civil court, which we've seen time and time again, as ridiculous as that is. And yeah, I would say, yeah, concealed carry courses are great because they'll tell you about the legality and the legal ramifications and what happens, heaven forbid, if it does. You do have to use your firearm in self-defense. And those are, I would say, invaluable pieces of advice. But let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have a dad going viral for roasting a school who turned his daughter against him. Reason number 9,758,345,703 to not allow your child to go to a public school in the United States. Because for the most part, they are not schools, but rather indoctrination centers. Everything from making the kids dumber from basic arithmetic, mathematics scores, falling year over year over year, and even teaching your kids that they should change their gender and take drugs and sterilize themselves. It's one of those horrifying things about public schools. And there's a lot of horrifying things about public schools. Let's just say they make the churches look like Candyland in comparison in terms of dark, evil things that happen. Now, this comes with thanks to Lives at TikTok. She says, quote, must watch dad obliterates Jefferson County, Jeffco Public Schools? It's a real name. Sounds ridiculous. After they fed his daughter lies about him, alienated her, and undermined his parental rights. And it is a little long, but again, it's one of those viral things. I think it's very important, culturally speaking, so without too much further ado. And again, this guy's got balls of steel. One of the most horrifying things for most people these days is public speaking. I mean, shoot, I stumble over my words worse than Joe Biden trying to climb upstairs, and sometimes speak faster than Ben Shapiro. But believe it or not, when I first started the show, I was even worse. And again, this isn't live stream. This is just recorded to the little camera, and I render it and throw it on them internets. And I still make a lot of mistakes. I can't imagine doing this at your town hall in front of all your peers, all the parents. And he maintains his composure about I would argue one of the most emotional things possible. So without too much further ado, again, I'm surprised he can stand with balls of steel, so to say. God dang it, sorry. Apologies. Hopefully it's coming through. A good reminder, if anyone's up for election, primary them, get them out of there if they're that evil. Now, there's TikTok also says incredible dad, hashtag is DG. Oh, let me see here. At DGONZ102, Dustin Gonzalez, getting 1.9 thousand likes. The top comment is Gunther Eagleman, same quote. Public schools have gone to trash, getting 847 likes. Yep. Again, decreasing test scores every single year, but we spend more and more money on public schools. Yeah, it's like, man, I can't try to think of a worse investment. Well, Social Security. Yeah, basically lighting money on fire and getting dumber and dumber people. It's terrible. Paul Zupa says, quote, what schools are doing now to families is outrageously awful. It's undermining of parents is truly criminal. These systems need to be shut down and promotions of them need to be facing federal charges. The attack on the family unit is an attack on us all, getting 613 likes. The Recap Media TM says, quote, this is why we constantly say parents get active and involved in your child's schools. This will keep happening because as it stands, predators are guarding the henhouse. And it's simple. What's this? And the fix is very simple. Get active, be active, stay involved. Getting 105 likes. Make Men Great Again says, quote, this isn't education anymore. This is about control. The left doesn't want to teach your kids. They want to own them. And they're using the same tired playbook, emotional manipulation, redefinition of truth, and bureaucrat gaslighting masking as inclusivity. Okay, 441 likes and, 110%. Almost as creepy as those choirs in California, the gay choir going, we're coming for your children, which, well, at least I said the quiet part out loud in that regard. But, yeah, these teachers are evil Marxists and mostly mentally vacuous. Yeah, you have, what is this? Wayne Dunlop saying, quote, the slippery slope of LGBTQ. 1995, love is love. We just want acceptance. 2005, we just want equality. 2012, bake the cake. 2015, say our pronouns or lose your job. 2023, your kids must watch your drag shows. Getting 89 likes. And another horrifying thing about those schools, drag shows. There's no such thing as a child-safe drag show. The People's Cube says, notice that he lists off the names of a bunch of liberal white women. They are pox in our society. There's a cute dog and a kid praying says, quote, we deliver us from liberal white women. Getting 196 likes, which statistically do have the highest rate of mental insanity and leftism. Probably the same thing. Matt Von Swall says, this gives me the chills. Well done, Dad. Fight for your kids. Getting 348. So I get 349 likes. Let's see here. Some people are complaining about the audio. I hope it came through. But yeah, it wasn't the best quality. And yeah, just overwhelming. Just get people giving the dad accolades and cheering him on. Because again, that guy's a hero. And I can't imagine going through that. And I was going to say, it seems like always the ex-wife who's transitioning to kids too. But yeah, hopefully we'll see if it happen. But again, let me know one solid reason to have your kid go to public school in the comment section. I would love to hear just one. Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part podcast, Tim Walz drawn by boos by veterans because of his stolen valor. As Tim Walz claimed, oh yeah, he saw active combat, where no, he actually apparently dropped out right before his group was going to be deployed. Now, here, Tampon Tim is trying to speak here. Let's see here.
Welcome to the Capitol. It's great that you're here. Sir, you're welcome to come. Let me finish. Let me finish. Oh, hey.
Hard to think of a less masculine man than Tim Walz or Tampon Tim. They went pretty broad. Got 1 million views and 60,000 likes. Well, the first comments comes from anti-woke memes saying the party of liars and thieves. He's got Biden says stole election. Kamala Harris stole nomination. And Tim Walz stolen valor. Democrats, the party of liars and thieves, getting 645 likes. Going down more and more. Yeah, Paul Zupa saying, quote, Walz is a terrible human being. He never apologized for his stolen valor. Total disgrace. Getting 1.2 thousand likes. Yeah, Democrat Media TM saying, quote, he's lucky. That's all he got. He deserves much worse for stolen valor. People on the left have no idea the truth because they refuse to either listen to it or when presented with it or shield by it from the media they watch. Getting 89 likes. Make Men Great Again says, quote, Walz just learned the hard way that real veterans aren't fooled by fake act. The boos echoed louder than any of his empty words. The truth is out, and he's exposed for the fraud he is. Big 660, let's get 661 likes. Flip simply says Walz was actually in the military. What's the problem? Ooh, contrarian statement. He also says, what about Mr. Bonebers? All love for him ducking serving. Well, lying about being in combat, I think that's, I talked to my veteran friends, it's kind of a big deal. You got 303 likes for that, though. So do you have contrarians? Oh, he got some of the top responses, or top number responses. One of the first responses to him is from Omar Cummings, saying, quote, he lied about his missions and things he did, getting 110 likes. Nearly ratioed, but not too much. Scrolling down more, Flip says, oh yeah, he cleared that up already. He never lied. Omar says, you don't clear up a lie about being in Tiananmen Square during a massacre. You know the dates and times of the places where you're in the military, especially if there's a massacre. If you're going to lie about something being HS high school coach, you say about, oh yeah, that's another thing Tim lied about. He wasn't even the head football coach. He's like the assistant. He is the definition of like the assistant to the regional manager. He's the Dwight Schrute of politics. He's a loser. Caesar says Walz was in the reserves collecting checks to do nothing while claiming he served our country overseas, where many men and women died when in fact he did not. He is a clown. He gained 539 likes. Let's see. Sean Farish says, quote, this makes me happy. It's how he deserves to be treated. Getting 255 likes. You also have the Brad Berger project. Say, quote, Tampon thinks he's a man, but what man needs a tampon? You have Tim Walz in Pride with a slingshot saying Tim Walz campaign in red states, getting 66 likes. Yeah. They call him Tampon 10. He literally thinks, oh yeah, you should have tampons in the boys' washrooms. Or bathrooms, however you prefer to say it. Because he's insane. Let's see. U.S. Department of... This is a profile. They only have 109 followers, but they have the URL too, or the symbol. It's the U.S. Department of Retards, or Retardization. And it's hashtag USD Retardation. Established 2015. And they say, quote, how do retards like him make it this far? Getting 404 likes. Which is also kind of a fun IT pun. 4445 not found. Nevertheless, scroll down more and more. Legion Victus says, as a veteran, I approve this message. Tim Walz is a stolen valor coward, getting 39 likes. And again, there's so many speculations like, oh yeah, maybe Tim will have a future in the Democrat Party. I guess he does lie and cheat, so maybe he does. But I can't help but think he has no real future, except continuing to let Minnesota become a third world hellhole. But let me know your thoughts, guys. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Kids ATVs being recalled because the brakes may or may not work, which, not great. This is brought to us thanks to the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission, and they say, quote, little pickup recalls all terrain vehicles due to injury hazards, serious risk of injury or death, violation of the federal regulation for ATVs. Which, some of these ridiculous how much regulation we have, others, Here you can see a couple of them made in. This is from Shodong Audi's Industry Company, made in China. You can see the little ATVs there. Now they say, quote, the recall to youth ATVs failed to comply with the requirements of the federal mandatory ATV safety standard. Is there anything we don't have a standard for? How much bureaucracy do we need? Now, this is even more ridiculous. I don't know if you need to put like, extra foam pads on this, but they say the handlebars pose a laceration hazard if the child rider's body or head impacts the handlebars at high rate speed. It's a handlebar. Also wear a helmet, but a handlebar is too pointy. They need more foam on it. Now, this other thing, okay, brakes are obviously a vital thing. I understand this one. They also that additionally, the parking brake fails to hold. Well, it's just a parking brake. They say posing a collision hazard. ATVs that fail to meet the mandatory safety requirements pose a serious risk of injury or death. And it's affected about 1,300 units, which is quite a few to say the least. And it looks like this is they really call it the e-bully youth vehicle. That's the real name. That's kind of hilarious. It also includes the C angles and off-road mall. I was going to say I already showed you the VIN plate. We can find out, make sure if it was affected or not. They say consumers should immediately stop using the recalled ATVs immediately and contact Little Pickup for free repair from authorized repair shops. In this case, silver lining, the guy ahead of the situation. No one's got hurt from this, so no one's slammed their head against the handlebars. And they know that these are sold at multiple online retailers, including Amazon.com, eBay, I never heard of this one, cangles.com, and other websites from 2023 to September to October 2024 for around $1,000. Okay, I was going to say $1,000. The use recall number is 25-218. And yeah, I was going to say, they say you should immediately stop using them. Maybe not legal advice, but okay. Just be careful when you park it and don't slam your head into the handlebar maybe. But again, you got to deal with all these myriad of regulations when you jump to the United States. So again, it's going to cost the company time and money and resources to deal with the recall because obviously end user doesn't pay for it. The company does. So I got to say Shodong Audi's Industry. Got to say you are certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So you can click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.